the Christians and the Catholics can put set aside the differences, come together to combat CRT. I'm like, no. It's like why? Because Protestant, some of the churches are at the forefront of pushing CRT. They are part of the
Oh,
problem.
man.
So, and
Yeah.
it's sad that we see that in this fear and all. But
Well, I do have to say there was. Do you remember in when the Dodgers did the
the pride thing,
oh yeah, it was the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence or
something like
whatever it
that. Yeah,
was.
the drag nuns.
Yeah, the Drags nuns. There were majority of them were Catholics, but there was a good amount of Protestants there as well. And I think that within these last couple of years, I believe, and I'm starting to see that people are starting to remove the and not fully remove, but the idea of the authority of each denomination away from kind of if an individual has Christ in their
Yeah,
heart. Because while I believe that, there's parts of Mormonism, a lot of part of Mormonism that is completely wrong, I think the thirst for loving Jesus is there. Now you just have to help correct. So they're on the right path in a certain, or they're going down the right direction. They're just misaligned for fully of what he brings and what he offers, because they're also following another book. But if we can get to a place where our starting point is Christ, or if our starting point is Christ, we have a chance right there to work together when we see things moving away from Christ. It's almost like when we watch the Jews, Christians, and Muslims come together to fight off against the woke stuff about the sexual stuff in school. It's like, yeah, we're not, I say Jews and Christians are, but Islam is not the same religion, even though they claim, but they have a religious base where they believe it's one God like we do.
hmm
And so then people come together because we go, no, there's a standard that we live by. So as Christians, if we go, the standard is Christ, we can worry about how we work in that, and how we, move around in that. But the standard is Christ. Maybe there's a chance that we can use that to move, his kingdom forward. So I do think it's getting better than when I was growing up, and even the 4 or 5 years ago. But we'll keep seeing there what
I
happens.
happen to agree with you because I think people are just tired of the division. Do you like to see it in politics?
Mhm.
It's the same thing, and
Yeah.
yeah, however people might consider it, right now the Republican Party has kind of become like the big tent of everyone going over
Yes.
there. So
Yeah.
take that as you may. I just hope that the leadership remembers, to stick by the conservative principles and not.
Well, here's because I ran for office. I was vice chair of LA County GOP,
Yeah.
and as a Christian conservative Republican, and talking to a lot of Christian conservative Republicans, I think just like I was mentioning earlier about correction, I think a lot of disdain for the movement and the direction that the Republican Party was going. It just got into an angry place about it, as opposed to going, okay, it told me something. We got to organize better if we're going to really play in that
Mhm.
game, because other groups are coming in organized, because they're also coming away from something else organized. The left has been great about organizing a different coalition. So if that different coalition is moving, they're like, we're coming in here because they threw us away, but they're still
Yeah.
organized. And so as Christians, especially conservatives, it's like you have to organize. Then you have to establish yourself that these individuals who are going for the position need to come to you for the okay. Right now, they don't really need to come to conservatives for the okay, right? Because they know, hey, we're going to get that vote no matter what. So if they come to you, or you start to cultivate your own candidates. So a lot of times I've noticed that in politics, we've started to, and just like in faith, we started to become spectators, or Monday morning quarterbacks, where it's like we'll sit back, wait till somebody shows up and be like, oh, he's not Christian enough.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, why didn't you run for office? Or why didn't you and the neighborhood of business owners that you guys know come together and you be your own chamber of commerce, so that if people know you have, I don't know, 150, 200 families in a neighborhood that are Christian conservative and they want things this way, and it's like called the must come and see us first group, like these politicians want to win. They want to get the job. So they're going to come. And I mean, that's what they used to do back in the days. They have to go to the churches. These politicians had to go to the churches and speak to the pastors and speak to the congregation to get a validation and validity behind it. So why do we all of a sudden sit back? And I saw it in Hollywood. I've seen it in politics. I've seen it in schools. Like, to me, I believe Christians have set back so much, and then criticize as opposed to organizing and making where they have to pass through you in order to continue to get their check marks or whatever. At this point, they didn't have to. Trump is showing that he wanted to go, hey, I got your back, and that's him wanting to. But stop waiting for the perfect person to show up and be that, and gather the masses together. That's what Jesus did. He didn't wait for people to just come to him. He didn't sit back and go, yeah, I'm the son of God. They need to know. They should know. They should just show up. Like, no, he went out and found the people and was like, hey, this is the info. Come follow me. So I that's something I do, and it's changing. It's not the same as it was 5 years ago. Trust me, it's changing. But if we can get together and we can organize more consistently, start small, start local, start with your neighborhood, then branch out to your town. And when these elected officials come up, you have power now. You have the ability to say yes or no. And they see that, and they're going to have to consider that when they're working with you. But if you don't have that weight and you're just expecting them to just do the right thing, they're out there to win races.
Yeah.
I've watched it. They're going to do what it is to go, well, I gotta make sure we remove just men and women because, for marriage, because we have the gay population. I got to make sure we do this because we have this group, we have that group. And it's like, okay, those groups also have power. Those groups also have a coalition that can sit there and somebody makes a statement and it goes to everybody in their group of 12,000 or whatever it is, right? Do the Christians have that level of power? And if you don't, please stop screaming it's like pissing in the wind. Stop screaming to the sky just to hope it changes. You go organize this stuff. Get your churches together. Have meetings, have weekly town halls, or however, monthly, or however you want to do it. But I think it's taking action to build the coalition that you want to see have power instead of hoping that they should just do the right thing, because that's not going to be, at least in my experience, I haven't seen that move the needle in the way a lot of people want it to move.